Hello and welcome to the latest episode of DTC, Deconstructing the Construct. It has been a while and a lot has been going on. The last DTC update I did, I shared that there would be 7 waves, as I was told, and that at that time we were currently in the second wave of the 7. I've also talked about the time loop, that 2017 for me was in fact a repeat of 13 to 16, and that on January 18 a new reset, wind back, was achieved, but this time only for 3 months, that would end on April 18. And the 18th of each month I got was going to be significant. So January 18, February 18, March 18, and they all were for me and others that I work with. And I didn't know what April 18 would necessarily represent, other than the very strong feeling that the clock could not be wound back again. And I did receive a message on April 18, the evening of, that the universe has stopped and that the realm is now very weak. So the universe stopped on April 18 and the realm is weak. That's the first piece. The next piece would be that these 7 waves have continued. We got this 3rd wave, which was about clearing pain and suffering. The 4th wave, I don't have details around in terms of its frequency or what it was clearing, but each wave is associated with a timeline. So what I've been told is that many timelines were artificially created and many were manipulated. That what we've come down to is 7 what we would call core organic timelines. And that each of these waves is closing out one of these timelines. That we all exist on each of these timelines. The timeline that I'm on right now, and if you're listening to me, so are you, is the 7th and final timeline. That as these timelines close out, the aspect of us that is on those timelines does one of 2 things. It goes home, if it is needed there more than here, or it integrates with you here. Since the 3rd in particular, or 4th, in particular, there has been a lot of integration going on. I do know so far that the 4th wave was closing out the year, or the timeline, where for them it was currently 1789. The 5th wave was closing out, and for them it was the year 3049. As of yesterday, May 11, the 6th wave started. According to Lulu, and I can play you a recording, the 6th wave marks the beginning of the event. And during the 7th wave, all will be seen. All will be made visible. There have been individuals who have gone home on these earlier timelines with the waves, who have made contact. It's been an interesting experience. There has been, on a physical level here, a wide range of symptoms, you could call them, experiences. And what we found is a lot of the discomfort is about resistance. Resisting, you either consciously, subconsciously, or your body itself is resisting the integration of this other aspect of yourself. And it can get pretty uncomfortable, and especially if they weren't in a good space or place themselves. I was also told that so many people, so many beings came in here to help with this closeout process. The feeling I got was that we actually kind of left a skeleton crew at home. But as the timelines are closing out, more of us are needed at home. So even though you're on the 7th timeline, that some will be going home on the 5th and 6th, or 5th and 6th waves, if they're needed more at home than here. The rest of what I have to share is trigger material. So bear with me. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? I've been told that the creator of this realm and my distinct impression is that they are a being at home like anybody else. Not a god, not a father figure, not a prime creator, just anybody at home like the rest of us who creates realms. We are all creators. That the creation works on freedom. That's what I was told. The premise, the operating system is freedom. And that this one was an experiment in free will. And that free will is very, very misunderstood. It's not what we think it is. We think free will and freedom are interchangeable. They are not, is what I was told. That freedom is the freedom to be and do and create in a space of love with consent and cooperation of those you're playing with. That free will is the freedom to be and do and create in fear, in hate, without the consent and cooperation of others. I've asked if the proverbial they will continue to have the power to mess with and manipulate and harm and destroy right up until the very end, and I was told yes. That's what free will allows for. That when we create a realm, it becomes a part of us. It becomes a part of our being, a part of our soul. And in order for this realm to be completely wiped and never happen again, the creator itself will be wiped of all memory of it, all knowledge of it. It's the only way to ensure that it is completely wiped. I was told that what's going on here is the biggest wipe ever, anywhere. My concept of what that meant has changed. I thought it meant, and I used the word reconstituted, that the particles, the essence of a being would literally go back to source, be remixed in, and a new being birthed. But that's not the impression I've been given lately. The impression I've been given lately is that a being once born is always there, always exists, but wiped, literally being memory wiped. All traces of their experience wiped clean. However, we are, in here and out there, a product of our experiences and our memories. So, just like us, if we have a head injury or, develop amnesia or dementia or something, we change and we lose those relationships and connections. So there is sadness at home because those who are so heavily infected by the virus that is this place, who need to be wiped, will also lose memories of prior to this place. That was my feeling. That was my impression. They need to be wiped clean. And that will affect relationships at home. So there is a bit of a sadness about that. So that's freedom versus free will. And this has been a big discussion amongst myself and the group since it came up over the weekend and last weekend. And I know that at first it is a bit of a trigger. But the more I thought about it, the easiest way for me to explain what I was feeling was that my freedom does not impact on your freedom. But my free will can, and often does, impact on another's freedom and free will. And that's the easiest way I can explain it to myself. I was also told, and this is not going to win me any friends, I know, that the galactic realm, or the galactics as we call them, were among the worst offenders, the biggest harvesters of humanity. That realm has been wiped, that they were given many, many chances to reveal themselves and the way they were operating in order to start correcting the way this realm operates. And they didn't, and so they were wiped. That few made the right choice and have gone home, and a very few escaped the wipe of their realm and are now in here with us, but not many. And which related, again, if you've been watching these for a while, you'll know that last year, 2017, we felt like we were going through, there was a lot of energetic work done, and we were going through and seeing the cleanup and collapse of all the other realms or dimensions, however you want to refer to them. And that since January 18, with this recent reset, that we're seeing everything that we went through in 2017 energetically playing out physically. And it only occurred to me a couple of minutes before I sat down here that it was about a year ago that I actually said, I called it. I said, I think I'm ready to call the event. And that was about 12 months ago. And then last night we got the message that the sixth wave has started and this is the beginning of the event. So not just the galactic realm, but from what I can understand, all other realms have also been wiped. So what we were calling, as we were going through it last year, the God realm, the angelic realm, and also last year I was going through that process where there was energetically a chest, a crystal chest, that beings were turning up and putting things in the chest and going home. There was even some reptilians amongst it, which caused a bit of controversy. And these would be the ones that I was just recently told have made the right choice and gone home. So we did see that last year. But most have been removed and wiped. For those who have gone home, do they communicate from there? Yes, I've spoken to two people thanks to Lilu, she brought through two people who had gone home from the 1789 timeline, and they spoke. A lot of what people are experiencing physically at the moment, as I said, some of it is integration. A lot of it's integration. There's also so few, as I said, of these galactics and others left that they are causing pain in some cases. In order to be the problem, reaction, solution, cause pain so that you reach out and ask for help. They come in and help. You've just created a contract and a debt, which they will call in. No matter how bad it gets, if you can get through it without asking for help outside of yourself, in terms of that other realm help, that energetic help, ask another human being for help, by all means. But don't call out to the angels, don't call out to the galactics, don't call out to the whatevers. They are desperate right now and causing havoc in order to get you to do just that. I was told that when the creator of this realm was planning it, that he had a discussion with many other beings. And it was quite the heated debate about whether or not to go with freedom or free will. And in the end, he chose free will. And as many others have said before, we're all creators, we all create realms, and we all go and play in each other's realms. There is a good chance that some of us who have been here the longest, the first ones in, were the ones who argued for free will. And for those of you who have that overwhelming sense of responsibility, you might want to look at that as a potential. The ones of you who feel that you've really got a job to do here, and you'll be here to the end. First in, last out, all that. Just something to contemplate. Each of these waves does have a colour associated with it, and I think we're currently in green. Or was green for the 5th? Not sure. The spaceships that people are currently seeing, for the most part, are home ships. Not what we used to. And what I did find interesting was this explanation, or this information came in on, I think, the 8th, about the galactics being wiped. And I thought, well, that could explain why there's been no crop circles. And within 12 hours, there was a crop circle. First one of the year. So I think there's a connection between the two. I'm just not sure what. The other part that is a very touchy subject, and again, it's going to poke a lot of people, is it was confirmed that the realm is a computer, that what we refer to as Earth is not a planet. It has another being from home who supports the life in here. So the best analogy I could come up with was, it's like the creator is the guy who builds the hardware, the terrarium. The hardware itself, that terrarium, is not a living thing. It's a piece of technology, but it's got life inside it. And she is the one who, just an aspect of her too, not her whole being, just part of her, keeps the thing running. She's the generator that just keeps it running and supporting the life here. She is not the planet. She is not a planet. This came through very, very clearly. There was no ambiguity about this message whatsoever. And I know that there are people who, and I was one of them once, feel a real connection to Mother Earth. And when Lulu first made contact, one of the first things she said was, there is no Mother Earth, it's a program. And at the time, it, again, caused quite a stir. But it had been about a year and a half, 2 years prior to that, that I stopped feeling that connection. It didn't feel right, and I didn't understand why until Lily gave me that explanation. It made sense. But the two worked together. She is also playing a very big part in the closeout. She will not be wiped because it's not specifically her creation. She's just supporting it. That there will be some, but it doesn't sound like many, who will be going home with full memory of this place in order to tell the story. We were told that our stories are of this place is the greatest story in the universe and creation. And for those who, not everybody will be able to hold on to those memories. But there is a library, you could say. And I know some of you were having dreams and visions of files, a library cards, something that keeps a record, literally records, as in albums, LPs, of collecting, even if it's just bits of paper. There are all kinds of dreams at the moment where people are doing that, or sorting and sifting through. What's rubbish? What do I keep? What do I throw out? You're deciding what you want to take back with you. And you're sorting through your memories, you're sorting through your experiences. And I know this is being done outside of the group that I work with as well. I was told that for those who communicate with the galactics, there are, as I said earlier, there are still some here, and I was told that they are still trying to lay their eggs, is the way it was put. That there's really very little left inside the realm other than humans. There's just a few strays of everything else. That it is humans with human technology, well beyond, obviously, what most of us are even aware of, but that's the tech that's out there. If you can and I hate to use the term, but raise your frequency, raise your vibration enough, you should be able to see the new colours that are coming in. The sky has been red, and it can, apparently now you can also see green in the sky. Earth supports all life in here, the living and the dead, the humans and the psychopaths. Oh, that's the other thing. It was free will itself, the operating system of free will itself, that created the virus. And it has been called a cancer. And some were heavily, heavily infected. That once the creator of this realm saw where things were going and how it was, this is not a good thing, and wanted to change it, he was locked out from within. It was an inside job, but it was, and from, this has not been an easy pill to swallow for me either, but from what I understand, everyone in here was just someone from home, a good guy from home, who was once affected and infected by the virus, and some so badly that they are not redeemable and need to be wiped. The creator's only recently regained access to this place. Yes, this free will experiment realm will never be repeated or repeatable. Okay, do I think there is actually a real Earth somewhere with a real being and not computerized? Or are all creations going to be computerized? Just a thought. It sounds to me, so far, that everything is a construct. It's all constructs. And constructs within constructs. Home is even a construct, apparently. Is it a big computer? I don't know. I certainly haven't gotten to the point yet where I've been able to get outside of any and all constructs. Some of you may also, energetically and in dream time and whatever, be reconnecting with people from home, or more of you, bigger you, because the veils between all of this is just pretty much non-existent. Now, I was originally told that each wave should take about 30 days. But then, and that's wave 5 started. When did wave 5 start? It only took about 6 or 10 days in the end. Because now that the creator is back, he's working overtime and closing them out even faster. We had one of the members shared that on May 4, 3 or 4, the day that the volcano went off in Hawaii, she received information very, very clearly and very strongly that she had 50 days, just 50 days before she went home. We had another member who since then had a very clear vision, dream, and was told 30 days. So it does seem to be exponentially speeding up. But I was reminded this morning, and as much as we hate these dates, we keep getting them. So far they've been significant for me, the dates that we've been given. I was reminded this morning that in December of 2016, and for those of you in the UU room on Facebook, you may remember this. In December 2016, I was contacted by a guy I didn't know, who didn't know me, who'd had a very, very odd experience. He went to bed at 7:30, felt like he jumped forward 2 weeks, or apparently knew he'd just done a time jump and gone forward 15 days. Had an experience in that time of, he heard my name. He said, Lisa, he was told Lisa M. Harrison will explain everything. He'd never heard my name before. Then spent what he felt like was 2 years having an experience of time jumping and resetting timelines and closing out timelines. And at no point did they go past June 26, 2017. Until somebody did something wrong, messed up, and he got stuck 1 minute time loop on June 27. And he had to send somebody back again to undo everything they'd just done. And at that point, he woke up, jumped out of bed, had a look, and it was, according to him, 15 days, and 15 days after he went to bed, but only 2 minutes later. So now it's 7:32, 15 days later. He doesn't know what happened to those 15 days. They're gone. And 50 days from the day the volcano erupted takes us up to June 21, 22. So, like I said, we're all over the dates thing, but they keep coming. Yes, you might be having memories return of home, but your mind is filtering them because it doesn't understand it, can't get its head around it, or blocking them. So you may end up with a confusing dream where it takes you back to your childhood home or something like that, or childhood experiences. But you'll know that there's something not quite right about that dream. Something a bit different. No, I have no idea how to tell the difference between a home ship and a galactic ship. I did have an experience on Friday, just before this information about the Creator and Earth came in a perfectly blue sky, no rain, no clouds, no nothing, perfectly blue sky. There was a rainbow directly in front of me and one directly above my house. And the one above my house was huge, big arc going that way in the sky. That stuff's happening more and more, seeing perfectly blue skies with literally not a wisp or a hint of anything, let alone chemtrails, not even clouds, nothing. Okay. Oh.
So 2 days ago, I'm sitting here. It's morning time, and half of my window is like, where the sun goes over your house, but you still get light.
Yep.
Through the bottom window. So I look, and look up at my ceiling. I'm seeing a window on my ceiling, like a shadow of a window with light coming through that window. And my blinds are closed, but the blinds on that other window are open. And I see a shadow figure walking back and forth in front of the window. There is a tree or whatever, something with leaves, moving around in front, in back of the window. And
is this your actual window or the picture of the window that's on the wall?
On the ceiling,
So
because nothing's going on. I don't have a tree or somebody walking, on my window. And I was gonna record it, but I wasn't sure what to do. But it it was I was a bit surprised, but I've been used to all this craziness going on anyway, so it was like nothing really new. And I didn't hear any sound, but yeah, the only way I could think of this happening if the sun was, you know, shining underneath my window and shining up into my ceiling. But it, yeah, it was the weirdest experience I think I've witnessed to, like, seeing. Like,
well, I dare say, Earl, things are getting weirder.
I mean, we got
if
crazy weather.
if it's correct, then the seventh wave, all will be seen, all will be visible. So expect more, and expect it to get even weirder.
Yeah.
But next time, take a photo.
Yeah, I'll do that next time. I'll be like.
I will now begin the sixth wave. It has now begun. This will be the beginning of the event. The seventh wave is when all is seen.
So, did you hear that? This marks the beginning of the event, and the seventh wave is when all will be seen. That was Lilu. The first one was Oliver. The second one, the female voice, was Lilu. Waves of what? Waves of energy that are closing out the timelines. When does the seventh begin? I don't know. Like I said earlier, initially I was told each wave would take about 30 days, but then wave 5 only took 10, maybe. It seems to be speeding up because as more people are going home, there's more energy at home to feed into this process as well. And everybody's working overtime from what I can gather. I have had the people that I work with, the members, there has been some who have had reconnections with their family from home and not via computer, in meditative states and in dreams. Yes, people going home are dying here. The impression I've been given is, as we've talked about on this program and before that on the One People show, that there isn't 7+ billion people on the planet. Nowhere near it. So we're being lied to about those numbers. But even then, there is only a small percentage of those numbers who are actually human from home. And that of that small percentage, some will be going home on this now sixth wave and have gone home in the previous waves. And I do know people who have lost people very suddenly, very suddenly. That there will pretty much be a skeleton crew here by the end of the seventh. Really, just the cleanup crew. And those who are taking home all the memories. That's the impression I've been given. That some of you may experience feeling weaker, physically and energetically, as this is starting to close out, because more of you is needed at home. You may not, die in a traditional sense, but you may just start to feel less and less and less here. And for others who have still got work to do here, you may feel the opposite, more and more present, stronger. Yes, the dragons are playing a very, very big role in all of this.
Okay. You look great tonight. I love your pink top. Okay, now you've kind of clarified it. Let me start with this question first. What is the skeleton crew? Who are they?
Sorry, what is the what?
The skeleton crew. Skeleton crew?
Skeleton crew. Those humans here who are going to be here right up until the end.
Okay, so they won't die physically.
Well, possibly, right at the very end.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, this place goes boom. Like this whole realm was going to get wiped. And the last to leave will literally leave moments before that happens. So
Right.
when I say leave, who knows? I don't know.
Right. So the preppers gang, they're what they're doing is obsolete. It's not anything that can be controlled.
From what I understand, yes, there won't be anything left behind to stay in.
Right.
There won't be another, or there won't be an alternative to play all of this out and have all their narratives play out. If for those who literally cannot step into their hearts and get back into touch with who they are and live from their hearts again, who are very heavily invested in the programs that run here, they will need to be just wiped of their experience. That's that's the impression I've gotten.
Okay. And then you might not be able to respond to this, but I'm just curious. What qualifies someone going home and retaining their memory?
No idea.
Are they? Yeah, right. Okay. Thanks.
Oh, is that it?
I think so for the moment. I have a trillion questions, but they're like, there's so much is happening, right?
Yeah.
It's like kind of take a step back and take a breath and absorb it all.
Well, if what we've gotten is accurate, when this seventh wave starts, we were told all will become visible during the seventh wave. And if that's accurate, I mean, shit.
Right.
People think
that's all we need. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. So what happens to the creator? Does he get wiped? Go on and do another, etc. He gets wiped of his memories of this realm. And in fact, from what I understand, with each wave and timeline closing out, he loses memories. They start to go with each one. So those who do go home with all their memories, feed that into the database, the library, or whatever was going on there, will be, I guess, those who hold up a red flag every time somebody decides, hey, let's try that free will thing. Lilu said that your stories of this place are the greatest stories of the universe. The best cautionary tale, perhaps, is this fresh news I just got in. The fresh news is really what it boils down to is 7 waves. We've already gone through 5. We are now in the 6th, which started last night. And in the 7th, all will be seen. And at the end of the 7th, this place goes kabooey and it's all over. That's what I'm being told. Please describe home. There's quite a few people who can do that for you. When Lulu first made contact, she said it's what you call heaven. I think the template of this place is based on it. just better. The creator himself doesn't get wiped? No. As in, well, yeah, it's just his memories. He's not, because they were very clear that when you create, your creation becomes a part of you. So he has to be wiped of all traces of it. I was told about it a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that not all minds can be saved. But I don't know why. Some will probably be wondering if we retain our current families when we go home. I think we all have a relationship at home with everybody that's in our lives. They just may not be the same relationships. Your children might be your best friends. Your parents might be your children, your neighbours, I don't know. I think we've played so many roles with each other in here. But they may not be the same relationships, no. And yet there seems to be a depth to the relationships at home that we can't even grasp here. So if your child here is your best friend there, it's not a loss, because there's still such a deep connection. If we get wiped, we could be put through the same thing again. Well, that's why this will never be forgotten. That's why a lot of the information is going home. It is being filed. It is being recorded. I was told that the creator had two choices. Be completely deleted himself as a being, or have all memory of it wiped. And obviously he chose that. What about the people not living from love? Well, I know that we've been saying this for a while. Choice point time for at least the last 12 months. We've all been given multiple choices and chances to make good choices, to live from our hearts, to get out of our heads and get back into our hearts. And if people are continuing to make the wrong choices for themselves and for those around them, then yeah, they may be wiped of their memories. That's what I was told. So now's a really good time to get good with yourself and the people that you have hurt. Make amends. Get into your heart. Do the right thing. Yeah, apparently for those who do take their memories home, we do so in such a way that we are clear and clean and healed of any emotional trauma attached to those memories. They just become data.
Hey, beautiful.
How you doing?
How's everybody?
Good, good.
Good. I'm great. When I have a question, when you made mention the statement that these are the most, I don't remember the word you used, stories ever told, like the stories of this, the stories of all of whatever the hell we've been doing here. It's something sparked in me to consider that, of course, we don't know, what all this is going to look like. But my question is, how can this actually be such a great and wonderful story, yet when I consider heaven, or what the beauty of what I could imagine for me inside feels like it would be the greatest story. So I'm opening up a thought process to that maybe you can, touch on. And I mean, go into, because, you know, like we were just speaking about going into our hearts, and through the understanding of our worthiness, our beauty, our preciousness. I mean, you know, getting rid of all the trauma, all that stuff to get us in that higher vibration and beauty, beautiful alignment, to match, as we've talked about over the years, what we would assume, you know, heaven would be. Again, I have an inner conflict wondering, my goodness, wouldn't that be like the greatest thing, the greatest story to, you know, unfold? Or anyway, can you talk on that a little bit, if I'm making any sense? And much love to you, by the way, and everyone.
Thank you. Well, the only thing I can say to it is that from what I understand, it's because this is a one shot. It's never happened before, and it's damn sure never happening again. So this is unique. And for that reason, it's the greatest story.
Could it be because they wanted to see if we were able to go to this extreme trauma and come back into love? Is that the experiment in and of itself, or no?
Not the impression I've been given, no.
Okay.
I know that there are theories out there
Okay.
of, you know, we wanted to see how far we could go. We wanted to see how far we could go from separation and delve into. That's not the impression I got at all. The impression I got was they had no concept of where this would go, of how bad this could get. Because when you've only ever operated from the operating system of freedom and the frequency of love, you have no concept of some of the things that have gone on here. And it didn't just happen overnight. It wasn't like they pushed the go button on this place and suddenly it was fucked. It was that free will.
That's why it's the great.
Yeah. Free will became, you know, all it had to do was for someone to create something that had an effect on somebody else, whether fear or doubt, something subtle that person then has a response to and creates that space. And it becomes an exponential.
Like subtle shadow.
Yeah. And then we end up with what was referred to as the cancer of the universe. And that's the impression, like I said, the impression I was given was that this was not anticipated. And that as soon as the creator of this realm realized, oh, hang on, I can see what's going on here, this is not a good thing, and wanted to change it, he was locked out from within. Because by that point, there were beings in here who were already so infected that they were coming from purely a place of control over others, and rather than self, and greed and fear, and locked him out so we couldn't change it. Sorry, I'm just reading through. I had a dream a few months ago that felt super real. I felt only love and connection. I saw a version of my sister. I knew I was awoken from a nightmare world. My iPad woke me unexpectedly. I did see Kanye's, or I heard about Kanye's tweet about him and Trump being dragon energy, yes. And then Diane.
So that being that's helping to run things, is that an actual being or a virtual being?
You mean like an AI?
Yeah.
No, this one is a being from home, and part of her consciousness, not all of it, is supporting this construct. And from what I understand, she feels very lucky to have done this job, and because she too knows that she's participated in something that is a one-off. So there's a few things to take away and process for everyone. Free will versus freedom. Have a think about it. You know, even if everything I've just said is a lot of bullshit, it can't hurt to use this time to get into your heart, to make amends, to reconnect. What's the worst that can happen? That in a couple of months you've got better relationships with people and you're happier? And look at programming. I mean, those of us who have been wearing tinfoil hats for years and think we've been down every rabbit hole and are awake are still being confronted with just how inverted and programmed this place has become. Nothing is as it seems, or what we've been told, or what we think we've discovered at the end of a rabbit hole is still an inversion. I'll leave that at that. Thanks, though. I gave recordings of Lilo and others that came through, and to someone who knows how to play with audio. And to their surprise, they found that the recordings are actually analog, not digital. And what was found was they are not tapping into the computers themselves and using any of the software in the computers. The voices that come through are not Siri program voices. What they're really doing, based on my audio experts, is that it's like sending a frequency to the speakers, and the speakers are interpreting it, which can only be done, really, as far as I understand, from within this space. I haven't... Oh, latest from Alison Coe. The last one I saw was for about an hour long, and she discussed two people's sessions. And it's the last one I saw. And those two people had very, very similar stories. I'm wondering whether in these QHHT sessions, if the person is not tapping into that larger part of themselves that is already at home from one of these timelines. They've already gone through the event on one of these timelines that have closed out. And that's what they're talking about. But as for Neo Glimmer, I haven't seen the latest one from him yet. Yeah, as these waves close out, things are becoming more and more surreal. Your vision can also be changing, seeing things that technically not. Seeing colours, waves, patterns, geometries, all kinds of things going on with the head. There's a lot of migraines, cluster headaches, head pressure. And my first suggestion on any of that, dealing with any of that, would be to feel into whether or not something is trying to integrate, an aspect of you is trying to integrate and there's any resistance. If that's not the case, it's just often the effects of the waves themselves. And just be kind to yourself when that happens, because they can be intense. All right, I think that's it. All right, thank you, guys. So again, 6th wave has started as of yesterday, May 11. There's only 7, and during the 7th, all will be seen. I guess that's the biggest piece of news, really. And if we're all still here at the end of the 7th, well, I don't know. But love to everyone. Be good to yourselves and each other. And yes, I can play that recording to end this program.
Will now begin the 6th wave. It has now begun. This will be the beginning of the event. The 7 wave is when all is seen.
Bye for now.